Hello, Seth. Do you like this view? I can give you another view. Tell me which one you like better. You like that view better or the first view? All right, the second view. All right, we'll do that. That's the first view. Hold on. Hey, Paul. You like that view better, the side view? Is it okay for everybody? So, Seth and Paul, do you guys have double beaters? Hey, old dog, what's up? How many guys here do not have double pedals? Hi, Robert. Okay, does everybody have double beaters? Double pedals? Hey, Jim. Okay. Seth has single beaters. All right. Jimmy doesn't. Paul? Okay. All right, well, for the guys, I mean, I had a couple requests for the double beaters. I really don't like to play double beaters. I mean, the options are unlimited. However, I'm having a lot of difficulty, even with four limbs, with one bass drum. But it's fun. We could have some fun with it. And if you don't have double beaters, instead of using the left bass drum, use the hi-hat in its place. Does that make any sense, guys? All right, old dog does. Robert, do you have double beaters? I mean, you could use the hi-hat, but the hi-hat, you're going to be working your ears off. All right, what we're going to do is maybe hang out with the double beaters, and I'll demonstrate both ways, with two bass drums or one bass drum and a hi-hat. Okay? And I like to spend this afternoon, I mean tonight, with the same thing. Okay. So that's two people who have double beaters. Okay, fine. I believe Stacy has double beaters as well. Now, these guys that play double beaters, uh, usually heavy metal or a little funk like Dennis Chambers does. But heavy metal with the blast beats. I mean, I really don't know what blast beats are and what they're for. I have to research that. But I mean, it kind of looks, you know, like a workout inside of the tune. If there's a tune going on in the drummer's blade. Well, I have a book. Hey, Dennis. I have a book called The Forgotten Foot, which is for the hi-hat. And I demonstrated way back, somebody had asked me a question, what do I do to get my bass drum and my hi-hat equal to my hands? And this is a good lesson to approach that. Okay, so I'm going to do double bass drums first. And what I want to do is the table of time. Okay, so let's do that. Now, guys, I'm very uncomfortable right now on the drum set because it's changed to my, I'm out of my comfort zone. So we're going to do the table of time. Ah. Let me warm up. I got to loosen up. I'm sorry. Couple times. Now I did that flat-footed. I have to do it with my toes into the pedal to make it sound better. I was just loosening up. What's this, Robert? That's good. That's what you should do. You're on the right road there, Robert. I mean, that's a nice little practice. But now, if you don't have the double beaters or double bass drums, use the hi-hat in its place. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's hard with the hi-hat because you're not really used to the hi-hat except that there. The hi-hat's like taking a break, or 1, 2, 3, and 4. That kind of thing, you know? So expand yourself. Now, Robert, you just mentioned something really good and I did want to go over it. You know, if you guys have been religiously practicing stick control, 1 and 2 and the options will open up. Okay, so now I could use the snare drum. I'm going to play every time my right hand plays, I'm going to play my bass drum, right bass drum. Every time my left hand plays, I'm going to play my left hand bass drum. And I'm going to use 2 voices. 2, 2, 3, 4, 3. 4 and 2 and 3, vamp. 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth. I would recommend toes to the pedal up, heel up. So you're getting that kind of effect. What do we got here? Let's see. I got to move this closer, I believe. Well, not really. That's the easy part, Seth. It really is. You know, playing 2 and 4 is a commonplace. Like I said before, I'm out of my comfort zone now, and that's okay. It makes me work harder. But if I'm doing stick control, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, a lighter, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, vamp. 2. That's commonplace at 2 and 4. That should be easy. If you're not accustomed to doing that, you know, a lot of guys are really like drum pad experts. You know, they sit on the drum pad all day. They got great hands eventually, but now apply it to the drum set. It's a kind of an uncomfortable place to be if you're not on a drum set ever, or playing it musically. No matter what you practice, no matter how well you can play what you practice, if you can't fit it in musically, it's worthless. Simple. But this is a good exercise. 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2. It's easier with the double beaters because your heel's up and you can play it with your toes. Now the first exercise I gave you on the PDFs with the double beaters is your playing stick control book with the feet. All right, but now the right hand's not going to be on the ride cymbal. 1 and 2 and 3 and I played it in 16ths, I believe. 1 E and the 2. Or you can play with the hi-hat. Guys, get that? Or you know, you sit there, you're playing a 5-stroke roll. Answer it with the bass drums. So on and so forth. You play flams, paradiddles. Get it? There's a lot of fun that can be had. Plus, you're going to be productive, and you're really working the shit out of. That's not challenging. It's pretty easy. If you're not used to it, anything that you start and begin, you have to become familiar with it, Seth. Yeah, it's nice to remain humble at all times, but you're making that's part of the table of time. The transition from the 8th notes to the 8th note triplets, or 16th notes to 16th note triplets. That's the humbling experience. If you don't have, let me demonstrate that. So I was going to get there. So if I'm going to do, for example, let's go, I guess the first one that you were talking about. Okay, now if you have no double beaters, double beaters, run down the page. The same thing with the next page, the 8th notes and 16ths. It's a hell of a workout. It really is. Oh. It's a lot of fun too. So that's part of it. Now I don't profess to be no double bass drum player, but man, it's challenging, and it's unusual for me because I'm actually, when I go play a gig, I have an 18-inch bass drum, a 10-inch wing, and a 14-inch floor tom-tom, and a snare. Now, what that does for me, see, when I have all these drums up here, I don't have to think about being a lot, what's the word I want to use? Hey, come on, word. Creative, okay? Or, you know, when I have 4 drums, it forces me to be creative and do a lot more options on my own. Whereas I have all these drums, man, you can't miss. I once told Terry Bozzio, all right, he was setting up. It took him about 3.5 hours to set up to do a drum clinic, and he had a roadie. He sets them all up, does a sound check, and I went up to him. I said, hey, man, and I was just joking. He knew it. I said, I could play just as well as you. All I have to do is sit behind your drum set, and throw the stick at the drum and try to catch it. He laughed his ass off. It was funny. Think about it. Just throw it on one tom-tom. It's flying. You're going to catch it. It sounds like you're doing all kinds of insane things. It was a lot of fun. Paul, work with the hi-hat. Jimmy, work with the hi-hat. Seth, work with the hi-hat as opposed to double bass drums. And the same thing with you, Dennis. You know, I'm thinking, I do give you guys like 32 lessons a month, and that's a lot of lessons. And I have a lot of fun doing it. I'm not complaining. But come July and August, I don't know how you feel about this. I like to just cut it down for July and August to 2 days a week, and in September, go back to 4. Would that be okay with everybody? If not, you know, speak up or forever hold your peace. Now that table of time is very challenging because, you know, I've done it a million times up on top with the hands. But it's just a different kind of thing when you're doing it with the bass drum. See what I'm doing, if I'm doing a table of time, I'm using my bass drum 1, 2, 3, 4, my hi-hat 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So on and so forth. Now, what I'm doing, I don't know if you want to call this displacement or not, but instead of playing 1 and the hi-hat 2 and 4, I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I was playing on the bottom when my hands were on the snare, I'm playing to the top now. 1, 2. Understand that? 1, 2, 3. Triplets. 1. So on and so forth. It's something, if you sit down and practice for 15, 20 minutes, man, you're going to be smoking on that. Now, I don't know what your priorities are if you want to get double beaters. I mean, it opens up a lot of these. I'm not selling anything, trust me. But it's a lot more fun, too. And, you know, I don't think... you know, you got to use your imagination and try to be creative, and you could have a lot of fun with it. Linear concepts, for example. I'm just introducing you guys to this thing for up-and-coming lessons. Now, if we were doing linear, for example, eighth notes, 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom, 1 bass drum, I tell you, it's a lot easier with double bass drums. See it? There's so many different things I could create for you with double beaters. I'm not insisting you get them. The hi-hat is just as good. What works for you there, Seth? And what's okay with you? In Old Dog, all right, Dennis, Robert, Seth. How about you, Paul? All right, that's good. They're expensive, Jimmy. If you're going to pick up double beaters, I would go with the DW double chain. And keep the chains oiled. The WD-30 or whatever you call it. Or what is it, W3? Yeah, whatever. I forget all that shit. Oh, okay, I'm sorry, Robert. All right, good. That'd work for me because, you know, I have 2 little kids. In the summertime, you know, is special with me and the kids. And in September, they start school. Good, Paul. Jimmy wants me to do 5 days a week. Hey, Jimmy, you sent me, are you trying to fool me? 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover by Steve Gadd. What was that all about? You want to work on that? Jim? I'll write it up for you guys. That's what I meant, WD-40. I have it right in front of me. I'm a wacko. Trick Pro V1. I got to see what that is. Jimmy, what was the idea of sending me 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover without a title? Do you think I didn't know what that was? Jimmy, answer me. I'll come to Boston and we'll spar. Just kidding. Okay, does everybody understand what I'm talking about with the double beaters that do the table of time? Now, I'm trying to demonstrate it because of the element of time here, you know, a couple lines. But when I practiced that to get it going on, which I haven't practiced it in a while with double beaters, because I just set them up the other day, cleaned up my studio, and I don't know if I did or not, Paul. If I did, then it saves me time. Okay, what I'm talking about with the double beaters, the table of time, that is, you know, essential. I mean, let me do it both ways with the double beaters and the hi-hat and one beater. So first I want to do this. Like, remember, I don't know if you want to call, if this is correct to call displacement. 1, 2, 3. I'll do that for a while. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Triplets. 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the 1 and 3. Eighth notes. 3, sorry, 4 and 1, 2, 3. Triplets. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 16ths. 1E and the 2E and the 3E and the 4. 5. 6. Back to the top. I might have made a mistake at that last 2 beats. But you hang out doing it each line 10 minutes, 5 minutes. And you feel good with that line, go to the next line. And before you know it, if you do that every day, you're going to be able to play from 1 to 6. It's fun. Jimmy, what was the purpose of the 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover? What was that sent to me for? I think you should change providers too if you keep getting lost. It's fun, Robert. You'll like it. Now, would you guys want me to do that with the hi-hat, demonstrate it with the hi-hat like I just did with the 2 beaters? Yes, no, some. And I'll do it anyway. That left foot, man, is going to work the hell out of your left foot. It really is. I mean, for the hi-hat, the pedal, not the bass drum. You're going 1, 2, 3, 4. Not easy. Once you get down feeling good, then lay down the metronome. I believe everyone that's on this site right now I'm using PDFs, Brandon. I'm sorry. You still can't get what, Jimmy? The 50 ways to leave your lover? Simple. All right, maybe we'll hit that one day this week before the week begins next week. Brandon, if you'd like, Jimmy's going to put my email in there. Email me, and I will send you, I will add you to my mailing list, number one. Number two, okay, I will send you PDFs if needed. You will get a time and location for the lessons, okay? But the books that we use, it's very basic. The Stick Control, Joe Morello's Master Studies, Gary Shafee's Pattern Series, Mike Clark's bebop drumming, and a few others. Syncopation book. Okay, plus my books, which is the syncopation formulas and the stick control formulas. All right. There you go. That's my email there, Brandon. So email me. I'll add you to my list. Thank you, Jim. All right, it's a lot of fun with the double beaters. It just opens up a new area. Like I'm telling you guys, this takes me out of my comfort zone. Like I said before, if I go on a gig, which I do, when I usually go on a gig, I'll take a smaller set because I don't want to take all this shit. I don't mean in a bad way. It's a lot of work. I'm getting too old for this. But anyway, when you go to a jam session and you're going to sit in, and there's a house drum set there, or the drummer's drum set, some guys, they set up only what's comfortable for them. And, you know, usually a guy says, can I change this? Can I move this? That's not good. If he's going to let you sit in, you have to deal with his drum set. That's etiquette. Somebody wants to sit in when I'm hosting a jam session and wants to start moving around and start tuning my drums, I say, time to get off the stage. Simple. Okay. Endurance. It's tough. Now, I got to be energized and I have to be playing for a while in order to do this, so I hope I can pull this off. Okay? I'm going to do 16ths with the bass drum, you know, 1 E and I'll play 2 and 4 here. Let me play with my heels up now. Try doing that for 3, 4, 5 minutes. And like I said, if you're going to practice, say, a 5-stroke roll, or you can do them harmonically. 5-stroke rough. Or answer call. Paradiddles. A lot of things that you can come up with. It will make you better, without a doubt. Okay, now the lessons are usually from 1 p.m. to maybe 1:30, and I'm running out of time. So there is lessons tonight, 7 p.m. So Brandon, if you want to come, if you put yourself on my mailing list, I will send these PDFs that I was using today, which I really didn't. I was more or less talking about it. Tonight I will use them. So email me, I'll send them to you, okay? No problem. Any questions, gentlemen? Now the way you do the stick control book with the vamps, do it with the bottom with the bass drums, or the bass drum and hi-hat, whichever you have. Now, the guys don't have double beaters. You don't have to go out and buy them. But man, it opens up a whole brand new area. Okay? It's just really nice, man. Okay, time to do some lunch. Have a cigarette first, then do my lunch. Have another cigarette, and lay down for about an hour, and then come back to work. No questions, Paul? How do you feel about double beaters, Paul? First of all, Paul, what size bass drum you have? Brandon, what size bass drum you have? Jim? Robert? Old Dog? Dennis? What size bass drum you have? Talk to me, guys. Seth, what size bass drum? 20s won't work so good with a double beater, but it's a nice sounding bass drum. That's why the norm today is 22. Some guys even have 24 and 26. For what reason, I don't know. They want to be, I don't know, whoever they want to be. What's the 20? What's 20? You have 4 bass drums? 18, 20, 22, 24. How does the 20 work on you, Old Dog? 24 is fine. 24 is perfect. 22 is better. It's the same. 20 and 18, forget the 18 with double beaters. You have a 22. You have 2 bass drums, Robert. Good for you. I mean, I could put up another bass drum here, which is an 18-inch bass drum, have 3 pedals, plus the hi-hat. And that's kind of ridiculous. All these guys with the 5 tom-toms on the top, 17 tom-toms on the side, 2 different snare drums, and they're playing just the money beat. Okay, guys, no questions. We will see everybody tonight, 7 p.m. Maybe a little earlier. Okay, good. Good for you, Brandon. The 20 is a good sounding drum. I prefer the 22, all right, because, you know, I never told you guys this years ago. You have 4 drum kits. Okay, I never told you guys this. I don't even know if Modern Drummer is still in business. But Modern Drummer magazine, I believe maybe it was 23, 24 years ago. I'm not sure. Maybe a little longer. They had a contest to win the Neil Peart drum set. Now you're talking everybody from around the world they entered the contest. Guess who won? One of my students. I thought he was kidding. But he said he has a problem. He has no place to put it. So, hey, I said, well, bring it to my studio. And we set it up in my studio. I really feel it was a terrible kit. That's why they gave it away. And because it was wrapped. DW, I don't believe, makes any wrapped drums anymore. They have this guy. He's a artist. He's a painter, spray painter. And he mixes all kinds of paint, like the silver sparkle is sprayed on. My drums are sprayed on. It gives you that natural sound. When you wrap a drum, if you wrap it too tight, it sounds like shit. But anyway, guys, the Gretsch kit's a good set, man. Okay, we'll see everybody tonight.